Have you ever watched a fashion show or looked at an ad or campaign and noticed that the majority of models are cisgendered white people? Hi, my name is Imani Sanders, and I will be giving an informative speech on New York City's first transgender modeling agency, Trans Models. I'm studying the business of fashion at LIM in the hopes of one day owning my own international modeling agency to provide more opportunities for models of color, much like Trans Models is doing for many models who are transgender throughout America. I will begin by telling you what transgender means and get into the current fashion industry and why diversity is so important. I will then talk about trans models and the owner, Petch D. Lastly, I will speak on the future of the fashion industry and why the development of unisex clothing may lead to a post-gender society. To start off, transgender is a term used to describe people whose gender identity differs from the sex the doctor marked on their birth certificate, according to lad.org, an LGBT media outlet frequently asked questions. Gender, in addition to race, is now part of the conversation on the lack of diversity in the fashion world. As Olivia H. said in her September 23, 2015 article in Wake Mag, without representation of all races, genders, sexes, sexualities, body types, etc., there are stories that we're missing. Without equal representation, there are people who are not feeling heard or seen. Design houses such as IMG, H&M, and Givenchy have responded by featuring transgender models and diversifying their casting calls. These campaigns and designers could not be reached without the help of modeling agencies that represent transgender and models who are minorities. Trans Models is a New York-based modeling agency that was created in 2015 by Thai beauty queen Petch D. According to the New York City publicized article in The Atlantic by Terrence C. of an interview D did on September 17, 2015, Petch D has struggled to find modeling gigs with traditional agencies because they didn't understand her. So last May, at the age of 26, she walked into the county clerk's office downtown and filed the paperwork for Trans Models, creating New York City's first transgender modeling agency. The agency now has 15 models on its roster, ranging from genderqueer individuals to plus-size talent. The current movement in diversifying the entertainment industry and making trans and gender-neutral models mainstream has led to a plethora of unisex fashions that may aid in the future's post-gender society. From a New York publicized September 15, 2015 article titled, "Can We Tie Unisex Fashion Trends to Gender Equality?" by Professor Mary Rizzo. Recently, fashion designers like Gucci and hip boutiques have begun selling what's being called gender-neutral or gender-free clothing that can be worn by either men or women. Both the New York Times Style section and The Guardian have recently covered this trend. Then there was Target's announcement in August that the retail giant will be eliminating gender language in its children's toys and bedding. In conclusion, it's important to differentiate between marketing and actual progress towards gender equality. To be sure, fashion can advocate for social change, but just as often, fashion will exploit social movements, aestheticizing them as a way to seem edgy and turn a profit. But with the help of agencies such as Trans Models, models of color, disabled models, and plus-size models have already begun to book the work that is necessary for the importance of representation and to make diversity mainstream. I first talked about what transgender means, which is a term used to describe people whose gender identity differs from the sex the doctor marked in the birth certificate. I then went into the current fashion industry and why representation is so important. I then talked about New York City's first transgender modeling agency, Trans Models, and the owner Petch D, who felt outcast with traditional modeling agencies, so she started her own modeling agency, Trans Models. Lastly, I talked about the future of the fashion industry and how the development of unisex clothing may lead to a post-gender society. Hopefully, we will begin to see completely diversified fashion shows, ads, and campaigns that do not just center around and cater to cisgendered white people. Now that you have been made aware of the importance of diversity in the fashion industry, the idea of inclusiveness will come to mind whenever you are watching a fashion show, skimming through a magazine, passing by billboards, etc. Again, my name is Imani Sanders. Thank you.